As it hot, my wonderfully met Biafran brothers and sisters, Hausa community on their way marching down to Biafra land. Why? Because of this. Hausa leaders reject Hausa Fulani identity. This is what have caused problem in that same country called Zoo. When we, the Southerners, are calling them Fulani and the Hausa, they say, no, they are our brothers. Address them as Hausa Fulani. Now, the same people who told us to address them as Hausa Fulani don't come back now. Tell us, say, no, not address them like that. Say they have been minority. In fact, they have been, what do I call it, segregation among them. To the extent that no any Hausa, real Hausa, is a governor, is a chief of army staff, is a chief of defense staff, is a vice president. All of them have been, they have been put down. In case you don't know, let me remind you that Hausas are the one who welcomes these Fulani as a form of helping them when they enter them with this nonsense religion. When you talk about religion, people will come and begin to thank you. Most of the things that are happening today are being caused by religion. Whether Christian, whether Christianity, whether Muslim, whether Islam, they are all the same. Let nobody gaslight you into telling you, oh, the Muslims now are the ones who are buying people. My brother, Christians are buying also. I'm not saying that Christians are terrorists too. Please don't get it twisted. Christians are buying themselves also. Even when you go into Christianity, you find out that most of the people or elders or patrons who are staying at the front seat, my brother, they kind of join their name. In fact, they are even the head of all these dangerous confraternities, all these dangerous cults. Patrons, knights are their leaders. They are among them. Whether I get you, whether I get SM, whether I get SO, whether I get SSO, whether I get I don't even know their names because I'm not among. So whenever they talk about Christianity, my brother, if you are doing good, just say I am good. Don't generalize it. Don't come and begin to and say the Christians are not doing like that. It's only the Muslims. No, you know yourself. You are good. When I say Christians, most Christians, so let me just put it this way, so that everybody will not say like I'm calling all the whole Christians. No, the same way most Muslims. In fact, if not 90% of Muslims are the same thing. They are the problem. Anyway, let us just listen to this message, and then we'll come back here for more discussion. We still have another headline here, which is IPOB, the movement that refused to break despite years of temptations and years of ups and downs. You know how IPOB has stood the test of time, a movement that refused to give up. So it is one after the other. After the first, then we'll come back to the second one. After that, we'll round up the whole show. So please, as you're watching, kindly like, share, comment, and make sure you keep subscribing for more interesting videos. Hausa leaders, they are on their way heading to Biafra land. They said they are no more interested in having anything to do with Hausa Fulani identity. Said that is a fraud. This is a complete scam by the so-called Fulanis who invaded them, conquered them, and they chase away the main Hausa, not even chase away, buy all the whole original Hausas, and the ones that have sense, and then leave Achikote one. I bet make on just the list, you know.
Hausa leaders and activists reject shared identity with Fulani, citing marginalization and insecurity in northern Nigeria. In a growing wave of ethnic assertion in northern Nigeria, some Hausa voices are publicly distancing themselves from the long-standing Hausa Fulani label, accusing Fulani elites of political dominance, marginalization, and complicity in violence against Hausa communities. A representative from what appears to be an indigenous Hausa advocacy group in Kano expressed deep frustration, stating that historical aspirations for unity have been eroded by perceived segregation and inequity. We wanted the relationship to keep going, but because of the marginalization that we are seeing against our race, that is why we have to speak up, the speaker said. He directly challenged the narrative of seamless intermarriage and assimilation. The talk of saying that Hausa people have intermarried with Fulani, that is why they are now one. No, we are not one. We wanted to be one, but because they are segregating us, so we are no longer one. The grievances center on political representation, particularly in Kano State, a historic Hausa heartland. Critics claim that Hausa individuals occupy few high-level political appointments or elective positions, with power allegedly concentrated among those of Fulani descent. If we are one, Hausa people too supposed to be seen occupying political positions, the speaker argued. In Kano, my state, you can hardly see a government official that is a political appointee that is Hausa. There are Hausas, but they are very, very few. This sentiment echoes broader online and community discussions, alleging that despite Hausa forming the overwhelming majority of Kano's population, often estimated at around 85%, with Fulani at about 12%. Key posts, including the governorship, deputy, and many local government chairmanships, have been dominated by Fulani figures in recent years. Activists point to figures suggesting only a small fraction of the state's 44 local government chairmen are Hausa, framing it as systemic exclusion rather than demographic reality. The speaker described the situation as a Hausa genocide, alleging that Fulani groups hold an upper hand. and that Hausa farming communities suffer disproportionately from banditry, kidnappings, and raids violence frequently attributed to Fulani-linked criminal networks, though analysts note complex drivers including poverty, arms proliferation, and cycles of reprisals between herders and farmers. Nobody from the north, from all my state, say, "Oh, this thing is happening to Hausa people. Let us come out and help Hausa people," he lamented. Instead, some northern voices reportedly emphasize impacts on Fulani communities. He argued that a Hausa leader in a high position would prioritize defending my people, highlighting a perceived lack of solidarity.
Actually, we wanted the relationship to keep going, but because of the marginalization that we are seeing against our race, that is why we say we have to speak up. And the talk of saying that Hausa people have intermarried with Fulani, that is why they are now one. No, we are not one. We wanted to be one, but because they are segregating us, so we are no longer ones actually. Because if we are one, Hausa people too supposed to be seen occupying political positions. So it is because to them we are not one. That is why they are not allowing us to even let me take for instance in kind of my states. You cannot see you can hardly see a government official that is a political appointee that is Hausa. There are Hausas, but they are very, very few. And so with that equity, we need equity, you know, so that our power will be the same. But when maybe in this crisis of let me call it Hausa genocide, because those people are the ones that have upper hands. They have upper hands over us. So they are actually they are unaliving us so much, as if there is nobody that will come and talk for Hausa people. And all these things that is happening, there is no single person from the north, from all my states that say, "Oh, this thing is."
You see what is happening in Kano, or rather in Hausa land. That's exactly what is going to happen very soon in Yoruba land. And if Igbos not take time, as they are surrounding us, it's also going to happen in Igbo land. And that is the total conquerors. They have taken, they have conquered you. And they will subdue you with their numbers, with their power, and everything, with their intimidation. That's exactly what is happening. Now, we have every time, we have the right, or rather, we have the chance to stop all this nonsense, but we are not stopping it. You can imagine how all the Igbos, meaningful Igbos, so the one where they get here and the one where they don't get here, all of them now don't venture into APC. What are they heading there for their own personal interest, not because of you? And the Southeast governor joining APC, let me break this silence, this secret where everybody don't know. They are joining that APC to fast forward the agenda of Southeast Islamization and the conquer. That is what they are doing. You people don't know. You think Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a Yoruba man. You know, Tinubu mistakenly fall in Yoruba man. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a Fulani man, but I don't know. Ahmed Tinubu is a Fulani man. He's from Somalia. I repeat, he is from Somalia. Somebody who don't have brother or sister in Yoruba land. Nobody can come out and stand and say, "Take me to do DNA with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We are from the same family." Everybody have asked these questions. Period to 2023 general elections. But today, the people who are supposed to even be mindful of this to ask these questions are not answering the questions. Somebody who have a Guinea-Conakry passport, not issued, not like you get it by nationalizing or maybe you invest. No. From birth is when they issue him that passport. How manage? The only thing they said is that after all the passport has expired and they refuse to renew it. And everybody think it is. Passport that was issued to you by birth, it means that is where you have been born. Okay, some people will bring this argument now. Okay, even if he's born in Guinea or in Somalia, his parents, maybe his mama is Yoruba and maybe papa is from that area. Rose Bible, who is great-grandfather self, not even his father, his great-grandfather is from Igbo land. We have been tons with many languages. Not even his grandfather. Tinubu is direct person where born am. Now they call this story and they will tell you after all mama and papa. But the one where his great grandfather is now they are telling you that he cannot rule Lagos State because he's an Igbo and have an Igbo blood in him. You can imagine. This guy I'm telling you is complete pure Lagosian, more than all of them who say he cannot rule Lagos. Because Tinubu is not a Lagosian. Let us even start from there. So this thing this guy is complaining is going to happen to Biafra land if we do not take our time to correct the mistakes that have been done now, because a lot of mistakes have been done. Let us continue listening to this, our brother, please.
Happening to Hausa people, let us come out and help Hausa people. What some of them are even saying is that people have been eaten. If there is someone that is of a higher political position, he will come and say that, no, it is my people that are being affected the most.
All right, so let me ask you.
The Hausa Fulani identity emerged from centuries of interaction, including the 19th century Fulani Jihad, led by Usman Dan Fodio, which established Islamic emirates across Hausa land, blending cultures, languages, and ruling elites under a shared Muslim identity. For generations, the composite label served as a political and cultural bloc in Nigerian politics, dominating northern affairs. However, escalating banditry and rural insecurity since the mid-2010s have strained this alliance. Hausa farming villages have been primary targets of kidnappings for ransom and attacks, prompting the formation of local vigilante groups. In response, some Fulani communities report indiscriminate reprisals. This cycle has fueled mutual suspicions, with Fulani increasingly linked to insecurity in Hausa narratives, while some Fulani voices decry stigmatization. Recent social media and community statements reflect this awakening. Phrases like Hausas have woken up and rejections of Fulani political dominance appear in discussions, alongside calls for Hausa-led governance in Hausa land. Videos and posts from Kano and other areas emphasize reclaiming distinct Hausa identity separate from Fulani influence. Hausa leaders...
That is the news. But here is another shocking one. The one that is going to shock you. Oh yeah, let's go there.
The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has demonstrated remarkable resilience since its emergence as a movement deeply rooted in Igbo identity, history, and the quest for self-determination.
Let me start with something that should send a chill down the spine of every Nigerian
IPOB positioned itself as more than a mere organization. It became a conviction that quickly drew the attention of the Nigerian state, sparking a prolonged contest between centralized authority and a decentralized grassroots movement. Over the years, the Nigerian government has deployed various strategies to weaken the group, including arrests, military operations, media campaigns, and attempts to disrupt its internal coordination. Despite these pressures, IPOB has continued to operate and maintain its presence in Nigeria's political discourse. A major factor in its endurance is its unique structure. The Directorate of State, DOS, described as a dispersed and less rigidly hierarchical body, has helped the movement adapt and resist decisive disruption. Unlike traditional organizations reliant on a single point of failure, this model allows for greater flexibility and continuity even under intense scrutiny. IPOB has also faced repeated challenges to its communication and unity. Claims of successfully jamming or silencing Radio Biafra broadcasts have surfaced periodically. Yet the station has often resurfaced or adapted, continuing to reach its audience. Allegations of infiltration, the emergence of purported factions, and competing voices claiming authority have created confusion and counter-narratives. Supporters view many of these developments as deliberate attempts to sow discord rather than genuine internal divisions. Nevertheless, the movement has maintained a level of cohesion and operational persistence. Analysts note that decentralized networks historically prove more adaptable than highly centralized ones when leadership or communication channels come under threat. IPOB appears to embody elements of this resilience, continuing to function even amid external pressure and competing claims of representation. From its formation to the present, IPOB's story highlights a broader principle. Movements built on shared belief and flexible coordination are difficult to suppress through conventional means alone. They adapt, reorganize, and endure, sometimes visibly, sometimes quietly, refusing to disappear despite sustained efforts to contain them. The movement remains a significant part of Nigeria's national conversation, not because it has escaped confrontation, but because it has survived it.
That is the end of the story. So, in your own assertion, what are you going to drop as your own contribution towards the matter at hand? Write it at the comment section of this video. Don't forget, we are reading comments and we are replying in most cases. When anyone tries to pass a wrong narrative, we will reply to correct that impression. So that is the situation. You can find us replying. Anything apart from that, my brother, catch you.